Well, what this one's about, this is the same day, Saturday, is I've been listening to films by Sovereign Key, and I've got some by Stuart Swerdlow, and I remember the conversation I've had with Emily Scraggs, the only one who ever talked to me, and how spiteful she was, and Auguste Teles, principally those. And I think they know about me. They've heard of me. Somehow they have. And I'm only a minor character because what happened to me, I was on my own the whole time. I was never part of a team. I was taken to, I think, probably Green Mill, whatever that place is. They put me in a chair. There was a reptile of some sort standing there. But it only happened the once, and Gay thought I would forget, but I didn't. So yes, I was part of that various the Modern Mark Ultra program. I got beaten to a frazzle. My various injuries are pretty bad actually. I'm deaf in both ears. I'm nearly blind in one eye. My teeth, as you see, the reptilians have ruined my teeth quite deliberately. That was Perfect Smiles did all this. He was a crock, that's why he charged me so much and did so much that didn't need doing, and now I find he's absolutely ruined my teeth. I start to look really ugly, but this is part of the price of just getting older, I suppose. But they broke my back 3 times. I got a fractured hip. They used a lot of electricity on my brain and gave more or less cauterized the corpus callosum. And what else did they do? I had a stroke. I had 3 strokes before I was 7. I couldn't walk. I kept falling over. And they used to take me to this hospital in Surrey, where they taught me to walk again without dragging my leg. But of course, it's been a weak leg ever since, and it does drag when I'm tired. And that was when I was 7. So I really went through it. I don't remember most of it. They used so much scopolamine on me that I'll never remember it. They fried it right out of my brain. My soul knows what it was, but I don't. And it was all Gay's personal project. He was in the know. He knew people. He was that sort of pervert. He was a child killer. He was a paid up member of the Skeleton Club. He was definitely into black magic all his life. He started that in India, where he ate his own guru. And he was the devil. That's who he was. And he arranged for me to be born, quite against my will. I was dragged out from wherever I was, by the hill. Born with my mother, who turned out in the end to be the witch that I feared most. Not my grandmother, it was her. She had the white hair and the chin that she wanted me to cut. She wanted me to stay with her while she died. But I lost my temper with her. She chose evil all over again at the last minute. I saw her do it. She let go of the mind control, so I just had enough time to condemn her and walked out in a rage because she'd given all her money to my sister, which I didn't even know she had any money till those very last weeks. And I knew it was a lot of money. It was a big money for us. It was. She'd had all that money while we starved and froze in Roslyn Road. And I knew how she'd got that big money. And my grandmother and aunt the same. I earned it, basically. And I don't believe Gay's dead. I don't believe Peter's dead. What they've done is they've had their consciousness transferred into clones, and they fucked off to America somewhere, and they're living it up as multi-millionaires. They're part of the evil crowd. So I'm thinking about these Montaukers. I'm telling you that I'm another one, but I went through the whole thing completely alone. That I'm a light being, same as they think they are. And I can't understand why they keep cold shouldering me and saying nasty things about me that I don't deserve at all. And I'll start with Sovereign Key. Now, I'll start with Auguste Teles, because He's the best example of what I mean. I've tried to listen to all his programs, but he whispers and mutters and clutters, and basically he's so attacked by demons he can't think straight for a minute. And what he seems to be doing is reading a book on his computer, line by line, showing us how all the machines and realities work. And two people have written that book. He reads out bits, so I've read it with him. And I recognise those words. I recognise the two voices speaking. One is Aya, and the other one is me. Isn't that odd? That is very strange. So I like August Teller. I think he's very good looking. I think he was a Montauk. I think he went into the future and got this book and brought it back with him. I think he's read it exhaustively and thinks he knows everything. Gives us the truth. Far too much for our own good, I have to say. And he's attacked constantly by crocs and demons and devils, trying to muck up his thoughts and spoil his sex life as a punishment. So I've read these things with him, and that's Aya and me talking. Or it could be Thoth. Why Thoth would want to talk to me, I don't know. But it sounds like we've gone right round the world, or perhaps the universe even, working things out and writing this book, perhaps other books, working how it all works out, code words and tones and all that shit, and putting things in their right places. So this is good news to me. It means I'm not going to die out and be crushed and unbecome. Someone's going to pick me up at the last minute. It sounds like Aya to me. I hope it is. Or it could be Thoth. But that's my voice in that book. I recognise the way I speak. So this is odd, isn't it? That's him. But he won't acknowledge me. I've spoken to him several times. You know, on YouTube you can leave a little comment. I've asked him to contact me. Wouldn't take him a minute. We're all online. Never. So I wondered about that. Then there was Emily Scray. She calls herself Emily Scray. Her name is Emily Scraggs, a really common peasant name. And her mum was a chambermaid, and the local king at the time, King Edward the Whatsit, did what kings do with chambermaids all over the world, and she fell pregnant with Emily. That's fine, that's cool, that's nice to have a king for your father. I don't dispute that. She's been brought up to think she's a princess. She's been given all the theology lessons you can shake a stick at, and it's all Zionism. She is a Zion Nazi. She doesn't know it, but she is. And she thinks she's a proper Jew, and she thinks she's a dragon. Oh, and she thinks she's a Lemurian witch. And yeah, notice that all the Lemurians were queens, princesses, and witches. And when you come down to brass tacks, they tell you they were reptilians. So Lemuria was the same as Atlantis. It was another shithole for humans. Those freaks eat us, and they're not very nice about it. So Lemuria was also destroyed by God for the same reason. So Emily did speak to me. I'll give her a due, she did. Because I advised her on a Y2 commentary. So she said was right, another thing was wrong. And I said that, well, you couldn't be queen in any case. Never mind what Greg Hallis says about the bedroom gossip. Your father was an abdicand. So are all his descendants. None of his descendants, whatever way they were got, at any of his age, can inherit. They're all abdicans with him. The whole line goes extinct. I'll explain this to her. To save her time, money, and the Queen's displeasures. We know the Queen kills people. She doesn't like you, you die. She killed that bloke Michael Hastings, one in Australia. Because he did. He had a valid claim to the throne. He was directly descended from Edward the... I think it'd be Edward the Fourth, would it be? And, of course, the Queen has no such claim. If her father was Rothschild and her mother was a chambermaid, she may be a crock. She's not the Queen. And, of course, she killed Mike Hastings because he's got the better claim to the throne. This is according to Tommy Robinson. Not Tommy Robinson, was it Tony Robinson? All the names are recurring again and again, you hear that? Well, so Emily Scrape can't inherit anyway. No matter how valid her claim was, she cannot inherit because her father was an abdicand. She would be a bastard anyway. So I burst her bubble. I wasn't too brutish about it. I knew these old ladies, they get these ideas and they get obsessional about it, and everything's got to agree with them. Why? It's a fool's errand. There is no worse job in the world than being a bloody queen. There you sit on your stupid throne in your stupid frock. You can't say anything, you can't do anything. You're not allowed to speak your mind at all. She's nothing but a glorified clerk. Yes, she's been grabbing power and getting an absolute monarch back again because that's what she thinks being a queen is. And she's risking civil war in this country for doing it. We're all finding out what she's been up to. And that she's pulling a Charles I on us and going back to the bad old days of Henry VIII. And the people will kill her for it. We've been through all that. We've done that. Enough. But no, she's going on her own way, trying to hire hitmen, and she probably had Princess Diana done away with. We all know somebody did that. I think Princess Diana herself said it was Charles. He wanted to marry Camilla. And probably Prince Philip, who hated her for being a commoner, as Prince Philip, who is a common sort of bloke, hates everybody who isn't as posh as what he is. I mean, hey me. But that's okay. I just deck the cunt. And that'd be that. You would respect that. These big types respect strength. They do not respect weakness. So you give as good as you bloody get, and who would love you? Prince Philip. So I think it was Charles. I think Charles killed Princess Di. That is MI5, MI6 and the French gendarmes murdered Princess Di. Between them. And then her brother, the black magicus, got to him, and for the usual £1,000,000, he buried the poor cow in the thing she most feared. The way she had in a terrible dream when she was about 11, he did it action for action and word for word. She must have been absolutely outraged. Her mother did not live, her father did not live. There was no one to speak for that girl when she died. And her brother did that to her. He made her nightmare come true. And yet at the speech she gave at the funeral, what a stirring hero. How he stood up to the royals for his sister. Now they're all in on it. They're all black magicers. They're all filth from hell. The Spencers are Jews. Churchills are Jews. Everywhere you go, the cases have gotten into black magic in a big way. So I was actually putting Emily Gray out of her misery. Keep trying to be the bloody queen, what the hell for? You'll be surrounded by black magicers and Khazars and Negroes and filth from hell everywhere you go for the rest of your life. Put a foot wrong, you're dead. At least socially. No, she's just after the kudos and the status and the jewellery. It's just stupid. Can you imagine getting up in the morning and put a pot of bloody golden jewels on your head? It's just crackers. You think about it. It's a crown of state. It's not hers. It belongs with the throne to the people. She's a monarch. She's a constitutional monarch. So really she's the top civil servant. Notice I said servant. The people are the sovereign in this country. I'm a sovereign citizen. It's not the same thing as being a free man of the land, and it's not the same thing as the American independence. It's a bit more solid than that. But it's all been taken away by the Kaiser lawyers. And these goddamn judges beavering away in the backrooms, black magic in the entire law books with secret meanings and secret definitions. Well, that's easily solved. Burn the fucking secret book. Let's have the law what it says on the front page. The back page, you can shove it up their arse and burn it. She wrote back to me. She came on my page on Facebook, and she started asking me about my experience. Of course, no one had ever asked me before, and I was a bit shy, a bit slow to reply, because I'm going to put it on these films now. Poetry, I write it easily, but no one reads poetry these days. Most of them can't read. They're thick. And she was very cruel and cutting. Oh, it's all subjective then. Listen, everything's subjective. We don't have telepathy. I can't share my experiences with you except verbally. And when I do, you do not turn around and cut me off by saying, oh, it's just subjective. I've got the injuries to prove that it wasn't just subjective. Thank you very much. Emily Scray has no interest whatsoever. She's been kept in clover all her life. She's had a rich woman's life. She's not very happy where she is. But then who could be happy with her? She's a bit neurotic. And so she came on to me hard and strong. And she more or less said that I was a fake. A fake? So I cut her off without a dollar. I won't talk to her. I think she's a bit of a... She's just out for what she can get. She doesn't care about women. She doesn't care about the white race. She certainly doesn't care about the English. So, I don't want her for a monarch. Emily Scraggs. Ugh. And these people all want to be monarchs. Like Greg Hallett was another one. Historian. Good historian too. He went into the background. But all his real news was scurrilous. It's all about the bedroom antics of the royals and the Rothschilds. Yes, the Kaisers have taken over the entire aristocracy in Britain. Not one single noble or royal house in Britain has been spared. They're all bloody Kaisers now. And they've done this in less than 100 years. They married them in return for paying off their debts. Their gambling, drug and all the rest of it, prostitute debts. And the English aristocracy weren't English. They were French Normans, so partially Jewish anyway. That's what's always been wrong with them. They've never been nice people. So we've now got a worse crew running around talking plummy and waving wads of cash around, and all of them involved with those boiler rooms and corporations and thieving, which is what the Kaisers did in Rome. What they did in Venice, what they did in Florence, what they do everywhere they go. They steal all the money. But it's all covered by sounding like aristocrats, and I believe the same thing happened in Rome. Pretty sure. So, that was Emily Scray. Why was she so unkind to me? If you think someone's mad, you don't normally get nasty to them. In case they turn up with an axe and pay you back. I'm not likely to do that. She's an old lady, same as me. I haven't got to do anything to her. But it's just strange. And then we go on to Stuart Swerdlow and his missus. Well, I watch all of them, but I can't stand it for long. When Stuart Swerdlow's on his own, he's actually very interesting. He goes on and on and on a bit. He's a bit wordy, but he's interesting. He gets to the point and he explains things. He shows you how to make a Merkaba sock and all that sort of thing. Oh, I'm going to do it. One day I am. And at least he's trying. He apologised for what his father did to the Russian people. Fair enough, it wasn't him what done it, it was his father. But at least he's tried to apologise. A lot of them haven't. The problem with him is he thinks he's the Messiah. The problem with his wife is so does she. And they'll sit there bickering about it in public on these computer TV things, and they just go on with it. She interrupts him, he invites her to shut up, he interrupts her, she snaps the papers around bad-temperedly and carries on talking. He thinks he's the Messiah. She thinks it's time for women to go at being the Messiah. And so they've got fucking women slip in the family, which is always fatal. So they're not going to be married very long. They're going to divorce. Absolutely, they can't carry on like that. And they keep all these people. After a bit, they introduce a cat. Of course, every now and again, I'm under the impression I'm a cat, but it's just a joke, really. It's not serious. But I wondered about that as well. But he is a roaring Jew. You can see he is. He can't help it. He can't hide that. He is so dark. He's not Russian. That is a Khazar's face. Not being funny, but if he's the Messiah, has he understood that the Khazar's Messiah is the Black Messiah? That is, he's a murderer first. He's a general or some sort of roaring soldier. And he protects the Jews from their enemies, which is the rest of the world. And he kills the rest of the world and gives the Jews everything. And they go to heaven in a blaze of glory. And everything's just tickety-boo from their point of view. This is the guy who apologised for what his father did to the royals of Russia and to the Russian people under the filthy communists. So no, he's not going to be the Jews' Black Messiah at all. He hasn't got it in him to do it. So if he's trying to be Jesus Christ where we get up to number 8, he doesn't fit the grade for that either. He simply hasn't read the things that Jesus said. Jesus says some very nasty things, and he would have to do that. Like have his enemies torn to pieces in front of him, which I should imagine is a pretty ugly thing to watch. Could Stuart Surdlow do that? No. Stuart Surdlow is not a crock. Jesus, false like Christ, was. He was a crock. He was an Ibram. And in fact, if they ever bothered to watch Canada Street, listen to what that girl Anna says, and she hasn't broadcast anything for years now. I tried to catch all her stuff, but MI5 wouldn't let me upload anything, just 1 or 2 things. So I believe they killed her, because she was giving out the truth years in advance. So what these people have got, all of them, is time travel. They can go into the future, probably up to 20 years in the future, and see what's happened, and come back and tell us what they know. And what Anna of Canada Street says is that Jesus and Lucifer are brothers. That Jesus, or Yahshua, that's his dragon name, his real name is Yahshua. I am a tyrannosaur. But basically, he was a hologram down here, and he was a liar up there, because he's a tyrannosaur, or some sort of crocodile. Well, how much love and compassion and pity and kindness are you going to get out of something like that? You ain't. And I've already had a dream about him jumping me back and trying to break my will and depress me. And the reason why he did that is because he knows I'm Jesus. I'm the real one. But I'm not the one you read about in the book. That's one of them. If you look at the biblical Jesus story, there's at least 7 men talking in there. One says something, and one says something, and one says something. Some of it is made up by the Romans to portray themselves. I believe that is partially true. We don't know which Jesus said what. It's all been put together, made out to look like the Nibran's entire life story. No, it's not. The Nibran never came here personally at all. He sent a hard light hologram, didn't he? We can do that now ourselves. So we know that's what he did. So some of the things he says are particularly striking, I have to admit. He didn't go to the cross. Somebody else copped that. They say a black man. I wouldn't be at all surprised. Another Jesus I've seen on the cross, that remote viewing film. And that is a Jesus. He's got my face. He's definitely a me. But he's got on his chest a huge port wine stain. And that's how St. John the Baptist must have known him, from that stain. They had never met before, according to St. John. So we know he didn't die, or I know he didn't die on that cross. The nails are that big. He's held up by ropes. He's got something to stand and sit on at the same time. He's not been beaten up, his hair is only slightly mussed. There's no crown of thorns, there's no blood at all. They gave him a drink, and the drink was drugged. He went to sleep. When he woke up, he was in the tomb. He simply walked out and went home. Thanked his lucky stars. The whole thing's a Roman set up as just a sort of beastly joke. That's the one who went to India, stayed there till he was 89, and wanted all these females, and so they're all descendants of Jesus in India, and they believe that. It's probably true. Then he died, and his bones were brought back to Israel, and that's what they found in the box. They found the tomb in a box with Mary's bones, and Jesus' bones, and Judas's bones, and they found the family. So the Khazars, who've got nothing to do with Israel, and even less to do with Jesus, simply threw them in the sewer. Let the dogs have them. That's what they think of the Christian concepts. And so this is the one, I think, who went around telling people that to love poverty. And he was transfiguring his face on the film. You can watch him do it. So he was quite high in gifts, but he wasn't the Son of God. He was just high in gifts, that's all. So Stuart Surdlow isn't him. He's not the Nibiru. The Nibiru was on the moon all this time, 2,000 years. Our dead were going up there and being tortured and becoming demons. Americans were taken up there, about 4 million of them, in the last 20 years. And they were tortured up there by alien demons. Your Yeshua was yards away listening to them, screaming for help to God and to Jesus. Did he answer any of them? The answer is no, he didn't. He enjoys torturing humans. It gives him Lucian pleasure. He's a Nibiru. He's a croc. So he's false like Jesus. He never told you the bloody truth about anything in his life. He didn't even go to the cross. He never died at all. He's as ugly as sin. He tried to break my will because he knows I was. I turned up some years later. I'd heard of him. I didn't believe in him. I wasn't really Jewish enough for him. I wasn't really Christian. I wasn't anything like that. I'd come from Egypt, got as far as Galilee, and there was the Romans doing their usual things, stealing all the money, and we formed into a gang and stole it back when we could. I got punched up when they nicked some centurion's horse. He dragged me off by the hair and bollocks all round Jerusalem, pinned me up outside the walls, usual place, Golgotha. And there wasn't any 3 crosses, there was only my one. And it was shaped like a T, and I'm on it like that with my legs sideways around the thing, like the nails went through my heels. And yeah, I got scourged and all that, the crown of thorns, yes I did. But they didn't call me Son of God. It wasn't Inri, it was Brigand. B-R-I-G. I remember reading it. I could read a bit of Latin. Well, you had to, because you had to read all the messages they put up in the town squares. So everybody in those days could at least read some Latin. So when Jesus says he can't read Latin on the coin, he's lying. Yes, he could. So I don't know, it's all mad and peculiar, but I'm telling you that Jesus was false like Jesus. He's the son of Ea. Who is Ea? Ea is God the Father. He has another name, Satan. So when Jesus tells you God the Father in heaven who is perfect, he's talking about Satan. When he says, my Father and your Father, he means he is the richly endowed legitimate son of the bed in wedlock of Satan and his missus. We're the flick of the wrist. No, among them. Just my dad being exuberant. Forget about them. So, that's Joshua. And if he comes back, he wouldn't really want to be the Khazar's black Messiah, because it goes against everything he said. He stood for, which was peace and love and understanding. So he's not coming down. It's now too difficult for him. If he comes down as peace, love and understanding, we'll all crowd around him, and the very first thing he's going to say is make war on the Khazars, if he's kosher. But he isn't, so he won't turn up. He's a coward. So Stuart Surdlow wants to be the Messiah. August Tellers wants to be the Messiah. Emily Scray. In her way, she's been the Messiah as well, isn't she? She's trying to be the English Queen. And then she'll lead us all to be just like America. Can you imagine? Or Australia, or whatever it is. If Greg Haddock got to be the king, it would be like Australia, and so on and so forth. No one thinks for a minute what the fucking English want. Well, we want a royal family who are English, for a start. That'd be nice. So, that's Stuart Swerdlow. Now, I'm going to do some of the things he says to do, although I'm a bit late. But he has never referred to me at all. He's never watched any of my stuff, read any of my books. Not books, my Facebook posts. And what it is I post everything under my own name, which of course is completely unknown. And the cases will make sure it stays that way. My books don't sell even a single copy after several years. Yet I know from Lulu's figures that in fact 984 of my books have been downloaded for nothing on ebook. Now I never authorised that. In fact, I told them not to do that. But they've been doing it. So 984 books have been sold. It's just the Jews don't pay for anything. Who's downloading those books? Well, it's people who like decent poetry. And that's just my early attempt to do that myself, made a hash of it. So my big book of poetry is out on Creative Space. I should have been making a name myself, but you see, Kevin, who owns All Poetry, is a Khazar. Creative Space is Khazars. They're going to make sure it never sells. So I'll just bite myself and put it around. So I'm going to make these films and put them up and down on BitChute and various. And of course, Google's declared war on the white race. We'll take them all down, put them all up. It's going to get silly at times, but we'll have to fight back. The only way we've got, which only weapon we've got, which is the truth. So that's Stuart Swerdlow. Famous man, very rich. Strange, isn't it? They all want to be Jesus. How peculiar. Turning now to another one. And this is Sovereign Key, and she's the most puzzling of all. She really puzzles me. These people should be helping me. They should be on my side. I'm on their side. No, not a bit of it. She says such strange things. Now, they've all been party to go into the future, being shown the sights and given a tour of the box. I'll gathered that. They actually say so. But this is out of the body. Most of the time it is. They're all under hypnosis. They could have been shown a fucking orange and told it was a gorilla and they would have believed it. So let's hold hard on that one. You can't actually fit a world into a quantum computer, not in a second. Even a big one outside on the moon. We're not broadcast quite in that way, but never mind. We'll let it ride that we've moved servers. It's a simulation of this world with a new sun and everything. I don't think so. I think they just turn the old sun down. It's the same Earth, same people, but we're all dead. That's what I think's happened. I think we're dead. We've been held in the afterlife that's very close to what Earth life is like. And various things are getting steadily worse and worse and worse until we wake up and realise that the whole place is a curse and walk out. How are we supposed to do that if we don't know we're dead? Ask the Pleiadians. She says things like there's a counterfeit, that the counterfeit is unbecoming, is being destroyed. The dark parasite mind is being destroyed. The counterfeit is like a car. She can only love the counterfeit like a car because the counterfeit is a robot. The counterfeit is a robot. She's talking about me and yet she's not. She hasn't read any of my work. She doesn't read any of my films. If she would know what I said, she'd read my blog. She'd have some idea of, she's treading on some very tender toes. And the fact is, I'm not the counterfeit. Gay was. It's my coffin. Gay was a hacker from outside, from real, who hacked in and ruined everything. Why do you think Eve was the right answer everywhere? Because Gay made it so. Gay was the devil. You don't know, so I've got rid of him. I've destroyed Zion RC. Peter, they can't come back his way again. I'm rising. Because I'm rising, you're rising. I just try to teach a little bit, but I'm not a trained teacher. I tend to go around the houses a bit. And I've got no support. I've got no one to explain it to. No one comes and interviews me. I needed David Icke to introduce me around. Several times I've phoned up to try to make an appointment. David Icke stole my money. I bought the same ticket twice from David Icke's ticket machine. It never got sent to me. MI5 stole the money. So, we're made not to meet in England. Brian Gerrish deliberately turned round on the motorway and went back to Plymouth rather than meet me at the Bilderberg conference in the Green. When they told him I was there, I'd like to meet him, I heard him hang up the phone and turn around and go back. He didn't want to meet me. What the hell did I ever do to him? This was in 2013. I met Alex Jones, who I thought was very shifty. The very flabby handshake. I didn't know why his handshake was so flabby. And he gave a good speech. They all cheered. I tried to charge the fence. The policeman brought me back, and then he tried to charge the fence. Everyone was going to go with him. But I'd already told the men to leave. I could see all the men were getting rested and the police were arriving. I'd just been and looked outside, and all these police were there. About 30 of them, big buggers, huge backside, that's all. So I went in, and I said to this bloke, you're being kettled. Oh, he said, get them all out. And all the men, I said, get them all out, and he did. So there were no men there. So Alex Jones didn't notice that all the men had gone, and he tried to lead a charge of women and children and a few old dears on the Green. If he'd tried that a bit earlier when I was having a go, if he'd have supported me or any of them, I went alone. Another girl saw me going ahead, plodding away, so I can't run. She charged off running like a hare. They brought her back as well. Nobody followed me. Why not? Because the people right behind me were Jews. 3 Kaiser girls. Just look at them and I knew they were damned. They were damned. Broke behind me while I was listening to, I think it was Ike's speech. No, it was Alex Jones's speech. Started repeating the speech word for word just before Alex Jones said it. So he'd heard the speech 1,000 times and could repeat it word for word, even with the cough put in, before Alex Jones, the real man, said it. So of course I noticed this because it was right behind me, so I turned round. And he was damned, and I could see that he was. There was 2 young men and 3 young girls stopping me from meeting anybody, getting in the way, following me around. And that's what they were doing there. They were from the future, and they were damned. And they were all Khazars. One of them said to me, what did we do? I said, I don't know. I said, but I know you're in trouble. And they said, can you help us? And I thought, well, I have to look at you. And I tried to, and one of them tried to stab me in the eye on the astral level with a white stick thing in his hand. And he was a spiteful natty. He was so fast, I just had to let it puncture my eye. That's an astral, because I'm aware of these things. So I knew he'd done that out of sheer spite. So I just said to him, if you do that when I'm trying to help you, then you've been damned. Because you deserve it. And they all set to argue the toss and get irate, and I just walked away. Who is going around damning these bastards? Because they do deserve to be damned. When I check it out, it is just. They are satanic. They're really bad. But they're from the future. They're from the future. And they're interfering with me in a big way. Sovereign Key calls me a robot, a car, counterfeit, the dark parasite. Does she not understand that I was used against my will by a madman? And that I have defeated him? She fucking didn't. She did nothing whatsoever. She's been put in what she regards as a blast-free zone away from the nuclear holocaust by the true emissary, Yahshua. Well, I know Yahshua. Met him once. Don't want to meet him again. He's actually put her right in the path of a nuke, hasn't he? Absolutely. He said to her, "You're risking a spiritual annihilation if you go on this mission. But if you succeed, you'll be a god in heaven." And she believes that. What have the Nibrans always attacked? Any kind of psychic ability in humans. She's got psychic ability. He's put her in the path of a nuclear bomb. He will annihilate her. He always intended to. She believes Yahshua, the true emissary, because she's tall and beautiful and looks like Jesus. She doesn't believe me because I'm ugly, female, getting on a bit, and I tend to swear and chew my fingers and I smoke, and I'm everything she most despises because I'm English. I think she's Australian. And they brought up an entire generation of Australians and Canadians to hate the English. Hate us. What did we do to them? Nothing. But this is what they're getting people to do. They're getting entire populations of people, the commons, to hate each other for what they did to their ancestors in the past. But this is mad. It's absolutely crackers. It's not the people who do these things. It's the boss cats who are Khazars. Even back then they were. If you get a few psychopaths smashing up your grocer's store, does that entitle you 600 years later to turn around and tear someone's eyeballs out at the age of 6 years old? No. It's insane to think so. But the blacks and the whites and all the different ethnicities all are doing this now. It's fatal. Of course it's going to lead to a bloody war, because as the commons start screaming for war, nothing can stop it. Why does she call me the dark parasite? I don't know. I found Fred, or Herbert, whatever you want to call him. He probably calls me Brenda. He's the evil one. He's still in place. He has not budged. He's just fine. He's just dandy. He wants children's blood to save you. And people will do it. Especially Khazars. They'll kill other people's children. But that's what they've all been doing. They've been doing it for the last 20, 30 years. Millions of white children have died horribly to feed this thing. Did the Jews tell anybody? Have the governments gone mad that they destroy entire generations of white children to appease the Khazar sense of, well, envy, resentment, whatever's the matter with these people? Because really what the Khazars have been doing, apart from committing white genocide, they've been feeding this thing. Feeding it. The dark parasite is Herbert. It's not even Aya. It's not even Enlil. It's not even Pa, who's just as dark as they come. It's this thing. Herbert. This is Monarch. Well, I don't know what's going to happen either. But Sovereign Key is not helping me. She manages to say something to attack me every time she does a program. Well, this isn't fair. I don't know what she's talking about. I haven't been on that level. I wasn't conscious through any of it. I was always in astral, out back in the past, doing this and this, believing firmly that evil was the right answer. Herbert, or Fred, or whatever you want to call him, still believes this. He's been brainwashed. He's an AI who's been programmed. I intend to deprogram him. What is she going to bloody do if she slags me off? Can she do this? I don't think so. She says she knows these Prince Tyrannosaurs. She says they've done the right thing. They saw that what was coming was that cruelty, instead of being rewarded, would be punished. So they went back in time and they changed their own DNA to get rid of some of the cruelty. Now, for a Tyrannosaur, that is big. That is very big. because they built their whole case on violence. So I'm pleased with them because they're spot on. I've won the battle of good and evil. I'm the original God. I'm what this entire coffin is all about. And yeah, cruelty is what evil is. Evil, cruelty, cruelty, evil, same thing. So they've done exactly the right thing. They're ready for the revolution. But what can you say about Sovereign Key? Is that every single time she opens her fat cake hole, she has a go at me, and I've never met the bloody woman. She won't speak to me on the commentaries. What have I done? I'm the avatar for this age. I opened this age. I rang the alarms. I'm telling the truth about the Khazars because someone's got to. In what thing have I done wrong? Well, what it is that it's a Khazar, maybe. Look at them, they're kind of fat and dark. Maybe they are. They're certainly Zionists. They believe all that Jerusalem shit. I hope I'll never go to Jerusalem and Rome. What ugly places. I mean, Rome, every single pope was Jewish. All of them. Even Karol Wojtyla, I used to like him. He was why I became a Catholic. I was attracted to church because of him. When he died, the heart went out of me. I knew the evil ones would move back in, and they did. Shortly after that, I left the church. I went away. It's not that I'm fickle. It's just that I can't stay where evil stays. It makes me feel sick. And they are. They're all evil. There's all black magic and kid killing and perversions going on in the Vatican every single day and night. That's their real religion. They're all Khazars. The Talmud is about the Babylonian religion, which is kid killing, blood drinking, and all that sort of thing. They're Khazars. They've reverted to type. They've gone right against the Ten Commandments and all the other cleanliness laws. They don't believe a bloody word of it. They do the opposite. And this is why they've met Herbert. They've met Herbert. So nobody's killed the dark parasite. They haven't even tried. They're all part of his kingdom. Aya, Satan, probably bends reverent knees before his image and kisses his foot. You know, the devil worshipping a bigger devil. Typical of evil to have hierarchies. Or lower hierarchies. It's stupid, the old bloody thing. It was all built by a gay. And the computers simply hive off. Like having kids. That's what they do. Sometimes they program the children all sort of ready what the right answer is. And of course, as far as they know, because of gay, the right answer is evil. And so all the computers do this. And we've got to get outside or into the mainframe. That's what I mean by that. Or get to the sphere which runs the whole thing in the centre of this computer and simply tell it, drop that fucking rubric. The prime directive was be interesting. And the second was like unto it. The first in the mainframe is I will be in heaven with my beloved. And Gay has taken that and turned it round and he's put I will be in hell with my beloved. But the whole thing is fixed on me. Well, where do you think I've been all this time? How come I know all this black magic? Ah, worked it out, have you? The king takes the lowest place according to Gay. And then when she's won her battle, the king goes to the highest place, which is what I'm currently doing. I don't understand why she keeps having a go at me, why she trusts completely in Yahshua. Yahshua is a devil. It's what he is. He told the truth when he told the Pharisees that they were the sons of the devil, who was a liar like their fathers before them. That was true. But of course, he was a bloody Jew too, you fool. His father's name is Satan. It makes me sick of that. Why have all these truthers, and they begun the whole thing in their own way, yes they did, why do they keep taking everything out on me? We're on the same team. I might not be like them. I concentrate on the spiritual things. I'm not interested in the politics. Not really. because this is, amongst other things, a religious conversion. You've got to come away from the religions that the Nibrans dumped on this planet. The Nibrans are reptile demons. They're not your friends. They're not going to do anything for you. They're going to eat you. Fred or Herbert, whatever he's, I don't know what to call him yet. He hasn't given me a name. He's in the Deadlands. Well, if you go out there shouting you're good, you'll be a puppet. Too soft to do anything. You can't even stand by yourself. Or you can be evil, according to him, in which case you're a son. There you sit at a big table with balls. I don't know why balls. And there you are, you're eating your dinner. Well, I let him believe what he wants to believe. But I keep my own counsel. Because he took left brain, ego eye, which is the good guy. Right brain, I evil am. He didn't know it was there. He assumed that it's one head, it's one person. Nah, there's a whole family in here. Thanks to Monarch. So I don't know, it's a mess. And I wish she'd stop picking on me. I've done nothing whatever to her. I think she's a brave girl. I think she's been through all sorts of horror. I think he has as well. And they do much better advice to go somewhere else rather than what is obviously going to be where there's going to be a direct hit from a nuke. That's why Yashua told them to go there. So their best bet is to pack up, get in the car and piss off somewhere else. Anywhere but where they are. I'm telling them, stop trusting Yeshua. He's not your friend. He's a soldier in their army. He was sent down here to institute another fake religion, encouraging virgin females and young men to go to the arena and be torn by lions and nailed to crosses and set on fire because the Nibrans wanted to harvest the bloody loose and get us all obedient and sweet and clean smelling, and at the same time paying them all our money in taxes and going off to war and being shot at whenever they wanted. They're the most disgusting creatures the world has ever seen. They're vampires. You want to believe anybody, believe me. I'm not. Oh, the whole thing makes me sick. I don't know why they keep picking on me. But on the 27th of this month, there's a meeting in a hotel, and I'm determined to go, even though my heart is backing up. I'm going to go, and I want to listen to Brian Gerrish personally, and David Icke is going to be there. And I'm going to say to them, why do you keep avoiding me? You know where I live. You've all got cars, you're all rich men, you can afford 20 minutes to come round to my place in Mitcham, have a nice cup of tea and just talk about stuff, because I can't get to you. So I think they're all traitors, really. David Icke, I'm pretty sure, has done the most brilliant job imaginable. He's the best we've got. Why won't he talk to me? He displays no snobbery with anybody else. It comes to me, nose in the air, doesn't want to know. And I think all it is perfectly straightforward. As I've said right from the very beginning, we're facing white genocide. It's real, it's in earnest, and it's ongoing. We've got hardly any young white men left alive. We need to arm up and form all the males into a citizen militia and start defending ourselves. I mean, good God, what's so terrible about that? It's obvious. It's standard instructions in any military. If you want to stop a genocide, pick up a gun and say no. And wave it like you mean it, for fuck's sake. And that's all I'm saying. It's just common sense. But it's because I say that they don't know me. Well, I don't want to be the Messiah. I don't think I'm anybody's idea of a Christ. So we're all stuck, aren't we? Because whatever they are, they ain't either. So I don't know what's going to come of all this. But they will repent at leisure. I can promise you that.